What's up? We got The Flash, Season 3, Episode 1, Flashpoint. So this episode starts off with Barry monologuing in his new timeline where he's talking to Iris, who barely knows who he is. Because remember, Iris thinks his name is Gary, but he's like, his name is Barry. Why do you think his name is Gary the Snail? He's no snail. And, yeah. So then we see Barry and but then we see the rival is being taken on by Kid Flash, who you all know who Kid Flash is. We all know. The show does. So we see Kid Flash, all crazy because they don't want to tell us who he is, but we know who he is. So he's like, what do you have against the city? And the rival's like, the city's fine. It's the people who need to be educated. Because he has no rival. And he basically yells that. So they get into and Kid Flash, I'm going to call him Kid Flash, that's his name. Barry calls him The Flash. He basically calls himself The Flash for the rest of the episode. But for this episode, I'm going to call this guy Kid Flash. So Kid Flash is like, the rival is becoming a pain in his ass or butt or something. And Barry's like, you'll get him next time, Flash. So then we get a flashback to Barry and he's, actually, we see Nora and Henry, who are alive because Barry saved Nora's life, causing Henry never to go to jail, and the Reverse Flash never killed her, which means that Henry never went to jail for her suspected murder, and that means Barry got to live with the life that he wanted, and they also have a new captain. Sing's not the captain. It's Julio Mendez. Yeah, so Barry's like, hey, what's Barry? So they're like, where's Detective West? Yeah, where is Detective West? So Barry's like, I'll get him. And we learn that Joe's actually a drunk. Joe's an alcoholic who doesn't like Barry at all because in this new timeline, he and Barry never grew up to have the father-son relationship that they have in our timeline. So Barry and Joe Joe absolutely doesn't like Barry, and he even says, we're not partners, we're not friends, and why you care about my life? Sad. I like our Joe better. Like, Barry, why'd you do this? I guess you wanted time with your family, but you made Joe like. Anyway, I will continue on with the review. Okay, anyway, so Barry flashes back to reveal that he actually locked up Reverse Flash, Eobard's Dawn, in a cage, and he's like, I will get out of here, Barry, and once I do, I will try to kill your mom again. And Barry's like, no, you're not getting out of there. You're not killing anyone again. And he's like, let's name this new world that you've whipped up for us. I was thinking Flashpoint. He actually does the hands thing, so I'm going to do the hands thing. Flashpoint. And he actually does it. Flashpoint. And so Barry's, I'm like, Flashpoint, cool. That was the name of the episode. So Barry and Iris go on a date, but then the rival but then Iris goes away, like runs away from the attack. But Barry saves the Wally, and he saves Kid Flash, and he's like, Wally, and Wally's like, yeah, who are you? Yeah. So obviously we knew. He tried to phase his face to keep it a secret, but we weren't buying it. We knew it was Wally. So he's like, how'd you get your... So Iris is like, hey, Barry. He's like, Iris, what are you doing here? And she's like, did you want to go out with her to prove that, because her brother's the Flash? And he's like, nah. Yeah. He's like, And he's like, yeah, I didn't do that. And yeah, so he's like, how'd you get your powers? And he was just in one of his illegal cars when he was struck by lightning, and he was in a coma for 9 months. And next thing you knew, he was the fastest man alive. Basically like Barry, but instead of being hit by chemicals, instead of just like Barry was hit by chemicals, Wally was hit by the lightning hit Wally while he was in his car. So yeah, so they go. Yeah, so they're like, there's only one person we can know. And he's like, who? Cisco Ramon, who's basically, this version of Cisco is basically just like a billionaire playboy philanthropist. I'm probably saying the philanthropist wrong. But yeah, he's basically a rich millionaire. He was able to buy Star Labs and basically transformed it into Ramon Industries. And once he sees them all, he's like, yeah, let's talk. And he's like, I built you a suit. I built you a suit. And what did you do? You didn't let me on you and Iris's crime fighting unit. And he's like, I need your help. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, Cisco. He's like, yeah. Who's this? Why are you letting this guy in my lab? Remember, he doesn't know Barry. And he's like, Mr. Romeo. And he's like, what do you know about him? He's like, I know that you let Dante money, and when you did it, because that's someone, he's like, how'd you know that? And then Barry's memories of Cisco start disappearing, like the other time when Barry's memories start disappearing, and they're like, why are Barry's memories start disappearing? And Barthon basically mentions that Barry will lose his memories to continue he uses his speed. So yeah, but Barry's like, Barry's like, he reveals his to Team Ramon, and they're like, and they get Caitlin, but this version of Caitlin isn't a doctor. This Caitlin isn't a scientist. She's a pediatric eye doctor. So yeah, so Barry explains to them that he's like, so he's like, hey, he created another timeline where so Cisco's like, there's a timeline where he's like, where Wally's the Flash, and they all say Kid Flash, and Cisco's a millionaire. Cisco's like, and rich Cisco's like, there's a timeline where I'm not rich. Wow. So yeah, so they get Caitlin, as I said, and they're like, she's a part of our team. And he's like, stop bringing people in here. Who's this? And he's like, this is Caitlin Snow. She's a part of our team. She's a scientist. And she's like, she's not a scientist. She's a pediatric eye doctor. And yeah, so she said something doctory to Cisco, and Cisco just looks at her. So then we get Barry and Wally devise a plan where Barry will punch him, then Wally will punch him. Yeah, so then we meet Edward Clare, the real identity of the rival. And he's like, yeah. He's like, his name is Edward Clare. Rivals to each other's names. He's like, since you two will be dead, who are you? And he's like, I'm the Flash. And he's like, once I rip that cowl off your corpse, I'll know who you are. And then they get into a fight, but then as they're fighting, Wally gets stabbed. But then as Claire's about to punch Barry, Joe shows up because Joe was warned by Captain Mendez and shoots him. But then when Wally isn't regenerating, so either this version of Wally's dead but Barry continues to lose more of his memories. So Iris was able to defeat Clarence. Barry was, to defeat Clarence, Barry was able to, Iris is the only thing to keep it running, so what Iris says is basically give Barry all his memories back, and she defeats Clarence. Yeah. So, yeah. So, yeah. So he's like, and Barry, as he's saying goodbye to his parents, he loses more of his memories. Yeah, he's losing more of his memories. So Son's like, what do you want me to do, Barry? And he's like, you know what you want me to do. And he tells him to say it. He's like, he wants him to kill Barry's mom. He's like, there. This dude's insane. So Barry and Iris have one more goodbye scene where Barry and the Barry from the last episode is like, you're safe now, and then Thawne's like, no, she's not. Erasing the knocked out Thawne, erasing that last episode Barry, and then kills her, restoring everything back to the way it was. And he's like, everything's fine now. For him, either way, but for you, you'll have to find out. So then Barry goes back to the house, goes in, and has a memorial for Henry, and he notices that Iris isn't there. And when he asks, where's Iris? And he's like, where's Iris? And he's like, I'm just gonna chalk that up to grief. Good night. And he's like, what's going on? And he's like, you know. And then Wally says, you know, Iris isn't here. They don't talk, Barry. You know that. And then Barry sits down on the couch saying, what did he do? So then we see Clarice from the new version of Clarice from the new timeline that Barry created from Flashpoint. Now the Flashpoint's dead. He's like, he is waking from his bed from his wife or something, or waking up. So he goes to the mirror and sees the words alchemy to end the episode. So this was a pretty good premiere. I really enjoyed it. I made some jokes about Barry. I really enjoyed the episode. It was really great. I love it. Just like, now Barry has to realize the ramifications of what he's done. Where's Iris? Like, why doesn't she and Joe talk? Who knows? Like, why doesn't she and Joe talk anymore? Like, what happened there? But anyway, that was it for this video, and I'll see you next time for more episodes of Season 3 of The Flash. Zoom. 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 There.